to seal
the
the
Lord.
Lord.
Well, that was the reason why RRQ actually regained their momentum in
Yes.
that game. And then you also saw that clutch revitalized move
Move from
from
the
it
Hylos.
was the Hylos who put it up, but it was Esmeralda to actually step
Step
in
in.
there,
Yeah.
which is amazing. That's what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we did see Sin with a worthy play,
Yeah, the worst.
diving onto
Hashtag
tree, the
worst.
hashtag worst,
Hashtag worst play.
and all of these Grok spears, the Grok
yeah.
block, and that is just day one.
That is just day
That is
one.
just day one, guys.
I'm sure there will be plenty of action for today. In our first match, it's gonna be Burmese Schools versus Axis Esports.
Let's do it. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited to see this one. Both of these teams very aggressive in the early
yeah.
game. They do like to pick the Cho,
Both of them, yeah.
both of them. So I do feel that in our new meta right now, we do have the split strategy. I do feel that there's going to be a lot of confusing skirmishes or misdirection
Yeah. So
in this game.
what you're talking about is that there will be a lot of split pushes.
Yes.
That will be enabled by having this misdirection
Direction
plays.
plays, yes, of course. The Cho is very similar to the Masha in terms of going for the split
Yeah.
and probably going for one-on-ones.
Yeah. So what it does is you go for a hero that will stay in lane and just push constantly, and then maybe take a turret or
Take
two.
a turret or two, or just probably fight.
Probably five.
Probably fight.
But I think we have the match.
Here we go.
All right. The draft for game number one, it's Axis Esports again versus Burmese Schools on the blue side. That's Axis. They hail from
Your
Malaysia,
team is
and they
banned.
will be fighting against Burmese Schools hailing from Myanmar.
And they immediately eliminated the Kufra from Burmese Ghouls. Again, the early game potential for that Kufra, the early game CC, they are negating it right now. And
Yeah.
they're probably setting up for a good mage here that can have an easy time in the mid lane
Yeah.
without this Kufra.
So the thing is, Team Axis Esports, they're from the MYSG qualifiers. Well, actually not the qualifiers, MYSG MPL, and they have qualified
Your
for
team
M1
is
after
banned.
placing fourth place during
Yeah.
the whole playoffs. So they lost against Resurgence.
Resurgence.
After a very close 2-1 victory
2-1
by
victory.
Resurgence
Yeah.
during MPL season 4 of MYSG.
But again, you can never say, you can never be too sure if it's Mobile Legends, man. Right now, Burmese Schools banning the Kimi, removing the early jungle invade from Team Axis Esports.
Yeah.
What is the answer to this?
Let's see.
Chango is open. And there you go, the classic
Your
Gaja
team is
Kufra ban,
banned.
the double K.
The double K.
Banning the double K.
So now, Burmese Schools should be considering banning out the Grok this time or
Yes.
the export.
Export.
And of course, Axis Esports, whoever gets a chance to take that Grok or export, for sure will get it. So Axis Esports definitely will be considering and hinging their lineup onto that first pick.
Let's see, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we're live in YouTube Gaming. As you've said, Xborg, very high ban rate, especially in day number one. I think we did not see any Xborg highlight plays.
Yeah, because export
Right.
is not usually
So
banned.
usually banned.
We only saw
And of
export
course,
once.
Yep.
Yeah, that was. Of
There we
course,
go.
Harith is
Your
going to be the
team
choice.
is
There you go.
picking.
This is interesting for Burmese Schools, right? Because they know that the first pick belongs to Axis Esports. And instead of giving away one of the two top bands like the Grok and the Export,
Export.
they chose to give both so
Yes.
that they will open it up. This means that Axis Esports, they will have to choose this time. Is it going to be the Grok or the Export or the Hylos?
Yeah, the Hylos is what I've been thinking right now. It is very successful. Yesterday, just baiting out skills and then using the glorious pathway to get away. And sometimes they do layer it
Yeah.
with the revitalize.
Yeah.
So, but as you said,
Export.
it's the
Your
export.
team is
So
picking.
Axis Esports, they do have the security of sustaining the side lane, especially having the Firaga armor on
Yeah.
X-Borg.
For sure.
Grok.
That's X-Borg, and of course the Grok, like we said.
It's an answer.
It's either X-Borg or Grok, and Burmese Ghouls will have it. Now,
Yep.
Hylos is there.
Yeah.
It is available, and it
Hylos.
will be picked.
There you go.
Exactly.
Your team is
Prediction,
picking.
100%.
Prediction 100%. So, you have the Grok, you have the Hylos. What is the main counter? Probably
Carry, of
they will
course.
pick true damage, carry,
carry.
or a Lunox.
Should be carry.
Should be carry right now.
And then you go for maybe a Thanos.
Another support
Oh,
or
no.
another sustain lane. I
Like,
think
you
it should be
kinda
a support.
You kind of need attack this time, so it probably is the Akai for Axis Esports so that it will not be banned
Yeah.
by Burmese Ghouls. Or maybe get their mid laner this time. Like you said, the Lunox is available.
Yeah.
Maybe they will consider Chango this time because they are afraid of it, but
But
of
I
course.
think
should
more
be
damage.
Lunox.
Carry.
More damage.
Your team
And this is
is
scary.
picking.
Because Axis Esports now investing into the late game for the Scary and this Lunox. The more HP you have, the harder the damage it gets.
Yeah, I think that they will consider the Chango this time because it might be banned out.
Yeah.
So the idea here is Burmese Ghouls should look for a Durance carrier.
Yeah.
And definitely Chango is one
It's
of the
one of
best
those. It's
one
one
of
of
those
those.
candidates to actually hold the Durance. And it
Chango.
makes a lot of sense this time.
Your
And you know
team
what?
is banning.
Imagine we have predicted
We have
everything.
predicted everything, man. 100% predict
100% prediction.
predictions since yesterday, bro.
Since yesterday.
Since yesterday, we're on a roll right now. Okay, so what do they ban? For Team Burmese Ghouls, the Masha and the Granger is still
Yeah.
open for the taking.
So
I
yeah.
think if they want that cover up type of play style, they do want this, but that is dangerous because again, 8% magic damage from the Lunox
Based on the age.
based on the HP, the Lunox second skill plus that percent damage, the 4% extra proc from the true damage from the carry is
Your
their
team
main
is
tool
banning.
to deal with this mashup pick
Yeah.
or probably the Grok pick and of course the Hylos in the front line.
Yeah.
So for Team Access, they will ban out the last remaining late game hero, which is the Claude. So the Granger is the only one left
Maybe.
as the S tier marksman.
Granger makes a lot of sense for Burmese Ghouls. I think they will consider banning out a tank this time. Like for example, get the Akai out or the Lolita.
The Lolita,
So that it
yeah.
will not be available for Axis Esports to
Yeah.
get because they can counter it. Another option is the Baksha, which we
We
saw
saw
yesterday. Which kind of is good against the Burmese Ghouls, but
Whoa.
instead they're gonna go
Your
and ban
team
out the
is
Valier
picking.
this time.
Okay, so I think they will go all in. The main problem for the Balor here is that it can negate an immediate dive because of the pushback of the Searing Flames.
Yeah.
They will probably go for an assassin right now or a fighter still to match up with the Glorious Pathway mobility.
Jawhead.
Okay,
Wow.
there you go. There you
Your
go. That is a
team is
fighter.
picking.
It's a Jawhead. So they will go for pick-offs right now.
They will definitely go for pickoffs this time. Axis Esports, they will go for Lolita. Lolita makes a lot of sense
Yes.
against the Chango. But what I like about this is
Lolita.
Joy is actually an answer to the Lolita. We will explain later. Masha is going to be the pick.
Your
So the
team
idea
is
here is,
picking.
imagine,
Okay.
when you go for the Jawhead, you go for the ejector.
Yeah.
And you put the ejector up, the Lolita Bulwark will be negated. It's automatic. It will be cancelled.
It
That's
will be-
because
yeah.
of the knock-up.
Yeah, because of the knock-up, and plus, I do feel that the Jawhead is a good substitute for the Kaja. It is a good option.
Bruno.
The ejector is not an ultimate. It
Yeah.
has a low cooldown, so
Very low
every time this ejector is up, for sure Burmese Ghouls will try to force out fights. So they will go for the crits right now as they will pick the Bruno.
Yeah.
So, for this game, for game number 1, I do feel that both of the teams adjusted on how the way way they
Definitely.
drafted.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot as well.
Yeah, I think that if you think about it, Burmese Ghouls have really a very good control, very good idea of how they drafted, right? The
Yeah.
order of picks. They get the best tanks first, and then they go for the Chango. There's a good answer, however, from Burmese Ghouls. That was Lunox.
Yeah, I do
And
feel
Axis, I mean.
I do feel that Burmese Ghouls they baited out the Lolita pick
Definitely.
because of the jawhead that
Definitely.
they have.
They aren't scared of the
The
Lolita,
Lolita.
anymore because they have the jawhead, and they last picked the Bruno, which makes a lot of sense this time because it has so much damage in it.
Yep.
So much chunks of big chunks,
Big
of,
chunks of
damage
damage,
instead
yes.
of those very small damage
Yeah.
damage types, like for example the Claude or the Carry.
But let's see, because that's actually hard to do, especially if you need to target one using your ejector as a player. But again, these guys are pro players.
These
So
guys
what
are
am
pro
I
players.
saying right now? All right.
Yeah, definitely they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. Of course, it's all up to the supports here for this game. And I do like it because we did see a bait battle
Yeah.
for that draft. Here we go. On to the Celestial Palace.
5
Game number
seconds till
1
the enemy
for day
reaches the
number 2.
battlefield. Smash
Long
them.
will be using
All
the
troops
carry
deployed.
Scott as the X4, Rin as the Lunox, Evil X will be using the Lolita and Lassie. Will be using the Mash.
On the other side, you have Burmese Ghouls. It's gonna be maybe on this tank rock. It's ice.
Maybe.
Ice on this Hylos. Actually, it's Kid on this Chango. It's PV and DV on this. Jawhead and Ace on the Bruno.
All right, so in the mid lane, we do have a little bit of pokes here from the Grok and Kid, but I do like what Access Esports is doing. They are giving Long the time of his life. This will of course go to the Lunox. But right now, Carry having the Bounty Hunter will get a good amount of XP to deal with this Jawhead in the bottom lane. So if the carry goes level 4 before 2 minutes, the Lolita can just immediately leave him be and enjoy his time here in the bottom lane.
Now they will try to take this river crab and are able to take it for sure. They're forcing out the
There you
Joy
go.
this time. They're diving towards it. It will go for, of course, the unstoppable force. Well, that is happening. Up top already. There's a push on the turret, which is very, very quick.
Very quick, very fast. But both of these teams having the same plan at the same time. Unfortunately for Access Esports, the turtle will spawn in the top lane. So right now, I think they don't need to set it up. Because Burmese Ghouls has the map advantage. Plus, they are now having their early boots, so they can rotate very quickly in the top. So as we can see, the Bruno and Ice is setting up for this objective take as they will push out the tower.
Yeah, I think it's very important for anyone, particularly for Burmese Ghouls, to secure all of the turrets
Yes.
against their enemies, because what it does is it gives you map control. At least it increases your real estate in the game.
There you go, like we said. But again, this is the early game damage coming in from Rin. The Order of Chaos really paying off.
This is a lot of damage, of course, coming out from this Lunox. And there's a lot of pressure, however, from Burmese Ghouls in the middle. Expert will be here to defend, as well as the Lolita.
Initiate retreat.
And they will just retreat this time, but they have the damage onto the Grok. Grok, however, runs away. Very, very tanky.
Maybe survives. even popping that movement speed sprint. That there you go. The turn. For an exchange for a kill, I will always take that. But again, Team Burmese Schools having more experience, especially in the international scene. They do lead by around 1,000 right now, and Kid is at level 7.
Launch
He will
attack!
probably go for the immediate ring of durance or a burst item.
Yeah, endurance for sure. Let's see how they will utilize this early lead coming up from the Chango, but instead they will just secure the grab. There is the ejector. There you go. They want to go for the core this time.
Whoa.
But of course, a very nice usage of the wild charge to stop the bulwark.
That is part 2 of the death of Team Axis. This esports, as again we've said this in the early game, you will pick the jawhead for picks.
For pickups.
For pickups, and that is going to be an
backup.
objective here in the bottom lane for Team Burmese Schools, and they do want to shut down the space being created. Too long.
Request backup!
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
It's going to be a block from the rock. Meteor shower is not available, but this means
Turtle
that they will
resurrecting
again
soon.
take away the buffs
Yes.
from Axis Esports. They always do this, and very importantly, Burmese goals having the lead right now, getting over the turrets as well as the buffs. Now the glowing one is already available for this Chang'o.
There you go. It's going to hurt. Another clash here in the jungle. That is the last insanity being popped. That is a human blast as well to cancel out more engage for Team Burmese Schools. But as I say this, they will just pick up one. And they will be very disciplined. They will just disengage.
Just disengage, not being overly aggressive, not overextending against their opponents so that they will maintain this lead. Still 2,000 at this point. Kind of have to wonder, after 2 turret takes, it's still not a big lead from Burmese Schools. This means that some members of Axis Esports are actually farming well. Like for example, the Masha, as well as the Lunox, they're having a good time. But again, they should utilize their farm to defend their turn. At this point.
But again, in terms of tempo control, Burmese Schools are the ones dictating where to fight and who to kill. And like this, oh, Evil X even surviving with a slither of health. That is a this is too deep. Coming in for Brumis School, but two heroes will fall down. From each of the teams, Burmese Schools underestimating that Lolita shield.
Yeah, there's just way too much defense. We will have the U-Mobile highlights this time. A very nice usage of the wall charge. However, they should not have been chasing this time. Of course, with the defense from the Lolita, able to run away, the Lumino Blast even connects, and it punished the members of Burmese Schools.
That is indeed a nice flicker. From Evil X to dodge out the second skill of this Chango, and it will give Axis Esports the ability to come back from this small deficit right now. It's still an even ball game. I do feel that Axis Esports, when we go up to 9 minutes, they will deal a lot of damage.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
It's very, very important. This time, gonna block on the drop. Now they will attempt to go for the turtle at this point. Burmese Schools, they do have a lot of control around the turtle area, and they are able to take it very easily, extending their lead once again, and of course giving them better chance of winning the team fights because of the turtle buff.
Yes, you are definitely right. But look at this, both of these carry players, the marksman, is having a good time, just farming up along with one death. The Bruno still doing nothing yet. But as you can see, in terms of scaling, the Bruno is better in terms of one-on-one against the carry, especially having the crit. But as I say this, Team Axis Esports still buying time, pushing out the top tier 2 tower.
So instead of doing anything else, what Axis Esports did was just to match the movements of Burmese Schools. They just pushed the bottom lane, the top lane, when instead of defending the bottom lane, but it will be a clash. There's no Lumino Blast. It's gonna hit on to just one, but they are able to kill off another.
There you go. That is indeed a late glorious pathway, ladies and gentlemen. The fire is burning on the dance floor for Mr. Scott, but Bruno will shut down the Masha. And here comes a retaliation play coming in from Burmese Schools. One by one. Shower in the meteor, says Kid 001. That is the flicker, and that is the ejector for the Lunox. And Bruno taking down the mage player.
What a play from Burmese Schools. Very nice comeback. This is the replay, like we're saying right now. Could be a kill, of course. That's the Lumino Blast only connecting with one, but the Glorious Pathway actually helped them win this fight. They are able to take 2 kills, but because of their overextension, Axis Esports actually lost more, and Burmese Schools, of course, capitalized on this overextension from Axis Esports.
Yes, and the range is just too far from Axis Esports to reach Kid 001 and A002. Clutch, flicker in, coming in from the Jawhead to immediately respond to Axis Esports disengage.
Means that the Lord will be in here for the taking for Burmese Schools, slowly taking over this time with the Grok.
That is a mess.
Spotting out the members of Axis Esports this time. Go for the Lord, of course, with the Bruno in there, they do have the damage. Berserker's Fury picked up by the Bruno, and the Divine Glaive for Kid on the Chango.
So you have the crits and you have the magic penetration. What can the Firaga and the Bulwark Shield do right now? 7-5 is the score, ladies and gentlemen. Burmese Schools, they do want to set up the Lord. They're pushing out all of the lanes, and the Lord will go to the bottom lane. Kid 001 just popping all of these meteor showers to get all the pokes that they need.
Very aggressive maneuver coming out from the Highlands, but the Bruno is here. They're taking the damage. It's actually hurting the members of Axis Esports. The Glorious Pathway is there, but the Highlands will still die. Will there be more coming out from Axis Esports? No, because Burmese Schools, all they wanted was the top tier 2 turret.
Yeah, they just want to push. That is a sacrificial play coming in from the support. But right now, The Lord is here onto the bottom
Oh, what a
side.
wild
That is
charge.
another wild charge. Here comes the Luminum Blast.
Killing
Kid
spree.
flickering in. Unlikely, ladies and gentlemen. And there comes the push coming in from Burmese Schools. They do want to end the game. That is another
Mega
ejector
kill.
play. Alley-oop coming
Meteor
in.
shower.
Coming in from the Jawhead, and everyone is on the floor. Just
Shut
like
down.
Bruno Mars.
Triple kill.
Triple kill from this Bruno.
Oh my goodness. This Bruno sang the song, and Axis Esports, they danced all the way through it on cue, and now they're falling
There
down.
you
That's the
go.
wipeout, and of course the victory by Burmese Schools.
Turn down the lights and close the door. Axis Esports is on the floor.
My goodness.
Says Bruno. Says A007 Burmese Schools securing game number 1.
A very, very, very quick game. I was one-sided, I would say. Not in a way that they are always winning the fights, but one-sided in terms of map control. And in terms of the tempo as well, Burmese Schools are controlling it. Why do I say by tempo control? It means that they're dictating the pace of the game.
Yes.
They decide where the fights will be.
Yes.
They decide where to push. And all that Axis Esports did was to overly react to what they are doing. And eventually, they lost all the grasp of the game.
I do like the decision making from Burmese Schools, exchanging a turtle for 2 towers.
Yeah.
Exchanging a tower for a turtle and a kill. So every time that they do that, they win. They win the exchange.
Yeah, definitely. And because of the trade-offs that are always favoring the members of Burmese Schools, eventually Axis Esports, they have lost economy.
Yes.
There was a time where they don't trail by a lot, right?
Yeah.
The lead in terms of gold wasn't that much.
Yes.
Because of course maybe the Masha is able to get some farm as well as the Lunox.
Yes.
But of course, if they don't convert what they have in terms of gold into items that can defend against their opponents, you saw that Axis Esports slowly lost that match.
Yeah.
We will see the highlights, however. A lot of action for sure from this Grok, the playmaker
The
from the team.
playmaker from the team, the Grok and the Jawhead
Yeah.
connection. Look at this. Look at the discipline of Burmese Esports. They do have the movement speed of the Glorious Pathway, but they opted to back off.
Yeah.
They said, hey, you are leaving your lane. Please stay in your lane and just go for kills, go for the pressure. And these guys are good in business, you know.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, this was probably the most failed attempt
Yeah, this was
for
an overextension for them.
for Burmese Schools. But again, in plays like this, the one who controls the tempo is indeed winning and controlling the game.
This is the big turnaround, right? You can feel that Axis Esports, they're winning already. But when the Jawhead came, when the overextension happened, they were duly punished.
And-
Bruno was freely hitting from long distance, and
Yeah.
when they tried to chase him, it just turned it around. And of course, the Meteor Shower was already available. The cooldown is just way too
Way too
fast.
short, yes.
Way too short. And look at this. Of course, the kill on the Lunox.
Nice outplay right there from the Jawhead Panda. This was the last fight. This was just a clean Bruno game for Team Burmese Schools. They did buy time. They did buy time for this Bruno to get this oomph of damage. And as we said, as Bruno Mars said,
They're all on the floor.
they're on the floor.
all
That
on-
is a total wipeout from Burmese Schools, and they look strong coming into game number 1. What is the next strategy for Axis Esports?
You
do
know what?
think?
I think that they should not be changing their strategy in terms of their draft. I think their draft is okay.
Good,
I think
yes.
they have a definite win condition, but it's just that Axis Esports, they aren't able to accomplish that win condition
Yes.
because they're not defending their turrets very well. They're depending on pushing. They're matching the movements
Of
Burmese
Burmese
Schools,
Schools,
and
yes.
they know that with this Bruno, with this Chango, they cannot match that. Even when they have the Masha, it will not be enough.
Unfortunately for the side of Axis Esports, they were leading before the two-minute mark. But again, sometimes the map itself dictates who wins. Like for example, the first respawn of the turtle, it was in the top lane, and Team Burmese Schools were setting up in the top lane.
Oh yeah. So what happened there was when Burmese goes set up for their pushes, it's kind of like basing on what is happening in the map.
In the map,
For
in the map,
example,
right?
if the turtle is respawning in the turtle lane, they will try to push around it.
Yes.
And then when there is a little bit of push from Axis Esports from another side of the map, they just, turbo mode push on the opposing lane.
Yeah. Or if they do have the disadvantage of the Lord and the turtle, they will force out fights
Mhm.
so that whenever there is a turtle take or an objective take, they have the advantage because they picked off one.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a 4-on-5.
Yeah, definitely. That's the first thing that you should be doing it when you are attempting a turtle, right?
Yes.
Go for the part where you will get the advantage. Pick off one from the opposing team, and then of course take the objective
Yes.
afterwards.
And of course, create space as always. You do have that Bruno late game,
Mhm.
as we've said. So Team Burmese Ghouls looking pretty happy right now, as they are pumped
Yeah,
coming
they
in
definitely
to
pumped.
to this day 2 of the group stages. Axis Esports, like what you've said, they do have a good draft, but I think that they need to fight fire with fire.
Mhm.
They need to hope for an outplay. More plays like Evil X's flicker out,
Mhm.
dodging the Chango. But man, what a game!
What a game indeed. We are seeing the mastery from Burmese Ghouls of this lineup.
Yeah,
It's quite a textbook type of composition that we already know and we've been talking about a lot. And there's a reason why we predicted the heroes that will be picked in the right order.
yes.
It makes a lot of sense why the 6 first heroes that were picked in this game were predicted by both of us because we know that this is the way to go. This is the
This
standard
is the standard strat.
strategy
Yes.
now existing in the meta. And
Yes.
Burmese Ghouls know exactly how to play it. They have executed very well and they did take the victory.
I definitely agree, and of course, I do feel that was an unexpected jawhead
Mhm.
for Team Burmese Ghouls.
Yeah.
Jawhead
Your
is
team
strong
is banning.
for the first 5 minutes of the game due to the fact that it can charge you, that is homing, and it has the threat, it has the potential to burst you down alone
Yeah.
because of the smart missiles.
That's the problem. That's the big takeaway that you get from the Jawhead, right?
Yes.
That's the reason why the Jawhead was very, I would say, famous in the
Famous in-
season, the first season of MPL,
Yeah.
all throughout the league that we have here for Mobile Legends. Very strong tank, very, very tanky, very quick because of the unstoppable force back there. It was Jawhead was just so imbalanced back
Imbalanced,
then.
yes.
Now, they still have
Your
some of the
team
facets
is
that you have from the
banning.
Jawhead, and you will get it. Now, this time,
Let's see.
however, into the draft, I'm not entirely sure if the Joint will be picked once more.
Let's see.
But Burmese Ghouls, they ban out the Kimi
Your team
and the
is
Hylas
picking.
instead. So this will make Grok available for Burmese Ghouls.
All right. So as you've said, Grok is in the
Kaja.
pool, but they will
Your
go
team is picking.
for the cock. Kaja is here. So
Wow.
again, more aggressive strategies for game number 2, especially having this Kaja. I do feel that the Kaja right now is transitioning to a fighter carry role. I do see
Karen.
players going for the
Your
impure
team
rage.
is picking.
Although Kaja,
Yeah.
but playing as a support as well.
Yeah.
Luna.
So with the Grok available for Axis Esports plus the Harith, Lunox is the natural choice for Burmese Ghouls.
Yeah.
Maybe they will consider the carry, but it's still pretty early to do that.
To
Although
reveal.
it does make a lot of sense against this Grok.
Yeah.
But then again, they have to look for an answer to the Harith as well.
The Akai is open actually. The Cho is good, I think.
I think that if they don't get the Cho this time, Axis Esports definitely will go for the Cho.
Yeah. Okay.
Jawhead.
There you go.
However,
There you go.
is
Your
the choice
team
for
is
Burmese
picking.
Ghouls.
There you go.
Back-to-back Jawhead plays.
Yeah, 2 options here for Burmese Ghouls to go for an aggressive pick-off. The Divine Judgment and of course the Ejector. Plus they do have a good amount of burst damage coming in from this Lunox. So again, we're expecting another early game aggressiveness for Team Burmese Ghouls. Meanwhile, look at this. Access Esports Club They're now confused
Bruno.
because of this
Your
Joel,
team
but
is
they will
owned.
answer it
Cool.
with their own Bruno pick.
A very early Bruno pick. Now the idea here is to just to burst on your opponents, have this dash that will actually help your team
volley
deliver
shot?
just a little bit of stun as well.
Yep.
And what happens right now is that Burmese Ghouls will definitely be shocked because of the Bruno pick. It's very
Yeah.
early. And I think that for Burmese Ghouls, they should not be they should not be putting themselves into a tunnel vision onto the Bruno.
Yeah.
Look for what Axis Esports is trying to do and maybe ban against them or work around against that.
This is where it gets tricky, ladies and gentlemen. The second phase
Your
ban
team is
Go for
of
the
owned.
this
Valor
game.
against-
Yeah. Again, they're banning the Valor because it neglects their dive potential, as we did see it in game number 1.
They did ban out the Valor in game number
Yeah,
one.
game number 1.
This means
I feel that they can go for an assassin fighter right now because they do have 2 supports that can go all in, can target the Bruno.
Your team
The carry is
picking.
open, but I feel for Burmese Ghouls, they can pick either the Cho, a Hayabusa, or if they want it safe, they can probably go for the Tams to
I think
deal with the
Tams-
Harriet.
Tham's makes a lot of sense in here since
Yeah.
the Hylas is not available. And the reason why they ban out the Granger is because they want the sustained heroes.
Sustain heroes, yes.
Could be another Rafaela actually. Could be a choice here for Axis,
Access Esports.
If they want Oranestes,
Yeah,
some of those healers, even a digging can be available for Axis Esports for them to use.
just to counter out the Jawhead and the Divine Judgment from this Kaja,
Maybe
right?
it timed perfectly well, but
Yes.
of course it's gonna be hard.
Oh.
Baksha also is their
There you go.
additional choice.
Your team
The
is
instant
picking.
initiation from the Baksha actually could be enough.
Carry.
And this time Burmese Ghouls, we did mention that the carry is available for them to take.
Yes. And they will definitely take it.
Definitely take it. Maybe another tank this time.
I think Teresa and Tams is perfect here for the side of Burmese Ghouls. They lack the sustainability
Maybe an Akai.
right now. Or Akai.
I think
Yes.
an Akai is good against the Harith.
Okay.
Gather
They will go for the Gadokkacha.
Okay.
Wow.
Your team
So,
is
yes,
picking.
they will go for the tank, but they need more crowd control. They want to catch out this Harriet and this Bruno, and then just burst them out by using the Lunox and the carry.
So you will have a lot of control against the Harith. Because the Harith is like a zone control or, a territorial type of hero where
Yeah.
he lays on the Zaman force and tries to fight in there. Avatar of the Guardian could be perfect against this type of strategy because when the members of Axis Esports jumps on one member of Burmese Ghouls,
Yes.
you will have the Gadokkacha with the Avatar of the Guardian to disengage.
Yeah.
And maybe, try to counter-initiate against their opponents. Masha is
Masha.
going to be the last pick, however, for Axis Esports.
Yeah, okay. So I think they're forced out to play the Masha because in terms of the Twombo combo clash, I do feel that Burmese Ghouls has the better composition due to the damage and due to the crowd control. As we can see, nobody is picking up the Purify here from Team Access Esports.
Oh, yeah.
This is a standard late game draft for them.
Yeah.
And I do feel Burmese Ghouls won that draft.
It's gonna be. I don't think
How about
that
you?
I don't think it's about winning or losing that kind of draft. I think it's more about having your own set of win conditions, right?
Yes.
For example, in the lineup of Burmese Ghouls, they have a straightforward type of strategy
Yes.
where they have the carry in the late
Late game.
They have good setups in terms of their
Yeah.
early game. Maybe it's because the Jawhead is not that easy to execute.
To
Maybe
execute.
that's where you'll have your doubts. But Burmese Ghouls, they have mastered this Jawhead so well
Yeah.
that they will pick it up. Now, Axis Esports, I think they also have a very good strategy. They have the Baksha and the Masha,
Masha.
the new heroes in town.
Yep.
And they will be the ones to surprise Burmese Ghouls. It's gonna be up to them on how they will use these tools to actually get the
5
victory.
seconds
Let's
till
see,
the
ladies
enemy
and gentlemen,
reaches the
Axis
battlefield.
will Axis
Smash them.
Esports get that game number
All
3.
troops deployed.
Aksha and Baksha combination coming in for their team. Maybe we'll be using the Kaja Panda as the Jawhead, Kid 001 as the Lunox, Ice. We'll be using the Gadokkacha and Ace 007 as a carry.
Axis Esports on the red side this time, initiating with the Gadokad, with actually the Grok, but the Grok will have to flicker away. Let's rain on the Harith and Evil on this Grok. It's Long on this Bruno. It's Scott on this Baksha and Lacid on this Mashup.
Okay, so the idea here for Team Axis
Request
Esports
backup.
is just they will let Baksha and Masha control the map. Unlike game number 1, which Team Burmese Schools is dictating the team fights, Axis Esports has the ability right now to run away from team fights and just go for split pushes because of the wild power and because of the Baksha shield unity per skill.
Of course.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shielding that can come out of Scott, especially in the early game. It's very hard to penetrate through the defenses of the Basha in the early game.
Yes.
And of course, there's a lot of potential for initiations, courtesy of the Basha. That is one thing that Burmese Schools should watch out for. And already, they're
First
initiating.
blood.
However, they've dived too deep. They've dove too deep, I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
Giving the first blood to Ace, this
Yeah.
is really bad news for Axis Esports.
Okay, but nice
maybe a second one.
usage
Oh no.
of the spinning light wheel coming in from A007.
007 for
Yeah,
Ace.
Ace 007 immediately killing that wagon
Wow.
for the turret to change this target.
Turtle
Definitely.
resurrecting
Very
soon.
nice decision coming out from Ace. Instead of going for the Grok,
Yeah.
right after he just went for it. Look at this, the damage output from the Jawhead just because of the ejector and the missiles. More than enough to actually force out the members of Axis Esports away. Now Turtle, it's
Oh
gonna
my.
be there, and
Oh
now
my.
it's gonna be a big problem for the
There you go.
Grok. Uses the flicker.
Whoa.
There you go, the dash in, and of course the damage from a Panda.
No matter where you go, no matter where you live, I will find you and I will follow you. That is, of course, the ultimate from the Jawhead. And that is the first objective of the game in an exchange for a tower coming in from Axis Esports. But slowly and surely, Burmese Schools is increasing their income against the Axis Esports team.
So the economy favoring Burmese Schools, it's gonna be up to them and how they will convert this into pushes. Again, it doesn't matter if you get your kills. As long as you don't get the turrets, it won't matter. So Burmese
Yes.
Schools, they should be looking to force the objectives right now, and I think that they will.
They will definitely do it, as they are forcing out the mid lane tower. The second round of objectives is now here. Here we go. A007 is on a killing spree. That is a disaster, and that is an invade from both of these carries, ladies and gentlemen.
Very nice movement from Burmese Schools. Instead of answering the top lane push with the Harith, they know that they will not be able to push that because of the Jawhead. They
That's
just
it.
invaded on the blue buffs. And again, with the damage output that they have
Yes.
and the early advantage that this carry has, there's just way too much true damage and HP-based damage that even the Baksha and his defenses cannot stand against this carry and
Yes.
this Lunox.
I just can't get over about what happened with A007 right there in the bottom lane. That was just basic MOBA. Just clear out the wave
Clear out the
and
wave.
then let the tower do the work. And because of that, it negated the rotation that Axis Esports wanted.
On
Yeah.
the middle, there's already a push. Bottom, there could be another push here, and it will be there. Burmese Schools already securing two
Turtle
turrets,
resurrecting soon.
and they will now move towards a turtle.
There you go. Panda is actually doing a good job in dealing with the smash. I look at this tower, it's still very healthy. I do feel for the side of Axis Esports, they need to immediately force out a team fight and hope for picks, because right now, the late game from the side of Burmese Schools is coming in early.
The game is coming in early. I like what you're trying to say there, but of course, the top lane will be destroyed by Long. And I like this decision from Axis Esports. Instead of trying to contest for the turtle, they just push the top lane. It's a fair trade if you think about it, and Burmese Schools, at least, I mean, Axis Esports at least will not make the deficit far too long.
Yeah.
Far too big, I would say.
Yeah, there you go. But four of these four heroes from Burmese Schools is rotating up in the top lane. Lacid, there's the switch coming in for both of these teams. Trying to control each lane. There you go. Three-man spear coming in from the Grok. That is the ultimate from Mr. Scott. The Grok block won't do anything as the carry will push out the top lane. And there you go. Like we've said earlier, Panda, the Joed can burst you down if you catch all of those smart missiles that he has. 5-1 is the score, and Team Burmese Schools is still controlling tempo.
Oh my goodness, they even took down the Masha with a solo kill. That is how strong this Jawhead is.
Yes. A surprise pick coming in.
Very, very surprising pick in there. Now they take out the Harridan as well up top. The control from the Gadokacha is just way too good.
Yes.
And my goodness, Burmese Schools showing a lot of pocket strategies
Yes.
in just their first game and showing us how they've mastered it so well. This Jawhead is so much of a problem for Axis Esports.
Crowd control is the name of the game for Burmese Schools right now. You have the Unbreakable, you have the Iron Fist, you have the Divine Judgment, you have the Ejector and the
Turtle
Wild Charge.
resurrecting soon.
The A007 and Kid001 will just go for the basic attacks.
Oh, yeah.
That's their job. That's the most basic of them all. And they will go for the third objective, which is the turtle. This is clearly
Request backup.
a dominating performance for Burmese Schools. What can Axis Esports do?
It's well, the first thing that they can do is to activate their split push strategy by having the Masha. But by activating, there's a lot of checkboxes that they need to tick first.
To
For
check,
example, they have to find their buffs on the Harriet first.
Yep.
They have to team fight with the Grok and against Burmese Schools. Maybe force, of course, the members of Burmese Schools to react before they can even start their split push. And that's going to
Man.
be very hard.
Whoa.
Look at Eyesight,
Look
just
at this.
threatening Axis Esports with this turtle buff. Burmese Schools are bullying Axis Esports.
Yeah, the lane bull is right here. Lacid cannot do anything right now against this Jawhead. Maybe, look at this, just baiting out his first kill. I mean,
Definitely.
his ultimate.
Wow.
And dude, Burmese Schools are really in control. That is the second, probably the first core item for Scott. The defensive item, which is the Athena shield. But it cannot do anything against the true damage of the carry. There you go, Lacid falling low. Look at that.
Have to backway.
Only one, with just one Phantom Step. The Grak is in half health.
Definitely. And now they will try to go. Very nice rock block in there. The Divine Judgment is just threatening, but of course, they're going to kill the Grok.
That is the first push coming in from Burmese Schools, ladies and gentlemen. And basic attack, times 3,000 coming in from this Gary and the Lunox. And I think we have game. What can Bruno do? He can only sing. Ladies and gentlemen, 10-1. Burmese Schools is putting on a show.
Lassie will try to match this push, but it will not happen.
Lord,
Burmese Schools
resurrecting
knocking on the
soon.
base, and they might take it in just a few seconds. There will be a defense, however, as they clear out the minion wave, and they
Unstoppable.
punish, however, the Grok for overextending. Lassie just
Oh
showing
my.
himself,
Oh
will be
man.
bursted
Mega
down.
kill.
So much damage from the Lunox, almost taking down the Bruno this time, and the Inhibitor
Initiate
down the bottom
retreat.
lane.
The Order of Chaos doing chaotic things to Axis Esports. All they need to do is hope, and all they need to do is to defend this base. Burmese Schools was actually too hasty from that fight. They did not want to end the game that quickly. But again, man, total control and total dominance
We
for
did-
Team BM.
We did say that Burmese Schools, they have this type of strategy. They have this type of draft where all they have to do is the standard mode of play.
Yes.
It's textbook already for Burmese Schools. All they have to do is literally just execute their lineup and achieve their win conditions. And boy, Burmese Schools showed us how to perfectly play Mobile Legends with even different or new meta type of picks.
Yeah.
They have the Jawhead and they have the Gadokacha. Not your most picked heroes for sure, but because of the idea of the draft that's textbooked in its own way,
Yes.
they just showed us how to win with these heroes.
How to play basic MLBB. And of course, Jawhead is the hero to look out for Team BM, Burmese Schools, BMG. There you go, man. Look at the damage of this carry. Order of
My
Chaos
goodness.
plus
My
the light
goodness.
wheel mark. My
Unstoppable.
goodness. There's no stopping the kid.
This kid is not kidding at all.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, maybe. Actually
Oh
taking
my.
some damage in. They're not going to be able to land the Divine Judgment. They're clearing out the minion waves. And slowly, the Lord is here.
Killing
There you go.
spree.
Kill the Masha.
There you
the solo
go.
kill from the Jawhead.
There you go. Can't go one-on-one with the Joe Head and Team
Monster
Burmese Schools.
kill.
They want to end this. That is 3 points for Team Burmese Schools coming into this group stages of Day 2 of M1 World Championships.
This is not the Burmese schools that we saw in MSC.
Yes,
This is a
definitely
completely
not.
different Burmese schools woken up with their new strategies, with their new pocket picks, pocket strategies. So we saw Jawhead and the Gadokacha perfectly destroying Axis Esports. The first game, it was all about them performing this meta type of
Yes.
strategy where you get the Chango, you get the Hylos, and you have yourself a very good siege material in terms of taking down your opponents. In the next game though, they put on the Jawhead to match the mashup because they know that because Masha has been really famous in the meta right now.
Yes.
And what they had to do was develop a way for them to counter the Masha. And we know that Panda with this Jawhead performed so well in the first game and the second game.
Kid 001 is your MVP having the perfect game right here. 605. Quite a quick game for Team Burmese Schools. Like what you've said, this is basic Mobile Legends. We've seen it from A007,
Oh yeah.
Mr. 007 himself.
007, 5,
007.
0, and 6. We have the highlights.
This is it.
This is indeed
This was it. This was it.
Watch out for the carry. He will destroy the cannon
Yes.
so that the attention of the turret will be on the Grok.
Yes. And that is him playing with the turret aggro.
And the damage of the carry
Right.
as well as this Lunox
Right?
is really good against the tanks.
Yeah.
Not the best and not the best Grok block in there, but of course they will still get the victory in this specific clash.
I would like to give this actually to the Jawhead Panda. Really doing a great job manning up Masha in the top lane. And everywhere she goes, he was there.
It's so,
He was there to follow.
It's the man-to-man defense coming
Yes.
out from the joint. Always go where the Masha is. I think this is one of the rare moments where there is a little bit of overextension from the Burmese schools, but who can blame them? And now,
Can't
of
blame
course,
them,
in
right?
this clash, there's just no way for Maxis Esports to defend even when they are fighting under their own pace because there's just way too much farm on Burmese schools, way too much equity in the map.
Yes.
They have very strong hold of the game,
Yes.
and eventually Burmese schools will take that match.
Burmese Schools making a statement and giving chills
Oh yeah,
to the other teams
Definitely.
right now
they are
for M1.
very scary now.
Very scary indeed.
So what amazes me about Burmese Schools is that it's just their first match.
First
it's their
match.
first match of their group, but they've shown already
One
some
of their strategies.
I'm not entirely sure how many tricks they have up in their sleeves, how many aces they have in their pockets, but at the very least, I've enjoyed this Jawhead for sure.
Yes, of course. They did their research.
Did their research
Yeah,
for sure.
they Googled it.
They've studied it
They've
perfectly.
studied Jawhead.
Jawhead, man.
They've studied Jawhead and in the web.
And because
And man, it paid off,
it
man.
did pay off, because the idea here is the Masha is, the hero.
The hero to watch out
to
for.
watch out for. And what they did was just to look for a specific hero that can match it. Like, for
The
example,
sustain.
the teams are looking for Thams or the Cho to go up against the Masha,
Masha.
or the Leo board time and time again. But what they did was just pick up the
Yeah.
Jawhead.
Whenever the Masha hits that first skill, the wild power that gives her up to 40% movement speed,
Yeah.
the Jawhead can just follow her but because of the unstoppable force,
Yeah,
right?
For sure. We'll know more about the players. We have an interview coming up soon. Right now, I mean.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Contra here, and I'm with the Vickers Burmese Goals. And of course, that was a great victory coming from them as they managed to take down Axis Esports. Of course, first and foremost, I'd like you to introduce yourself.
I'm a kid and I'm the for Barbie School.
Kid, you definitely had some great games against Axis Esports right here. This is the first series again for Group B, and you guys managed to clinch such a convincing victory. So, how long have you guys prepared to hit into its this matchup, heading into its M1?
We prepare for a lot of time, like a month. We prepare a lot for this M1.
Well, of course, now that you are seeing so many of all these great pool of teams heading in towards Group B, is there any sort of teams that you would not like to face, or is there some sort of a team that you really respect?
I want to face with Evo's ideas.
Wow. Evo's ID is definitely one of these huge teams coming in towards the M1 World Championship. And of course, now that you guys are leading the pack right now with the first series, are you guys confident to exit out this group and be top of Group B?
We will try harder.
All right. And of course, that is definitely great. So, other than Evo's ID, is there any sort of players that you're looking out for?
Maybe Rock is a good player.
I see. That's definitely great stuff. And of course, this is all that we have here from Burmese Goal. And now, back to you guys on the caster's desk.
Thank you so much, Contra. That was a man of few words, I would say.
Yeah.
But I think the big